Gentleman from New Jersey is now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First of all, it's humorous to me. President Trump's been in for 3 weeks. It's about 3 weeks, right? And you all are blaming him for the inflation engine that was created over the last 4 years. Come on. Seriously? Realistically? Come on. But let me get to the real issue here. And the real issue, Mr. Chairman, is the censorship that happened at so many levels of our government, at so many levels of our institution, in our media. It penetrated every single level of our society. Let's just look at a little bit of what this committee did over the last few years. Look at social media. The Biden White House colluded with Facebook to silence American citizens. They censored satire. They censored dissent. They censored facts they didn't like. It was censorship, and this committee exposed it. And now even Mark Zuckerberg has to say, in August 2024, he said he publicly regretted, he apologized for what had happened because of the compliance that they had with the Biden administration that used the executive branch inappropriately. But let's talk about more. Let's talk about education. Let's talk about our students and our professors. And they came before this committee too, and they told us how they were punished for holding conservative views, different views than the mainstream. And it could happen to you all. It could happen to somebody with a progressive view or a liberal view. It just isn't right. Every view should be accepted, tolerated, and encouraged in education. They were disinvited, they were deplatformed, they were chased off of campuses by angry mobs. At the University of Buffalo, conservative students were physically attacked. At Cornell, a student called for stabbing and raping Jewish women while professors continued to push blatant anti-Israel objectives. Mr. Aaron, I never heard you say a word about any of this. At Tulane, Jewish students were beaten in a protest while administrators stood by. And at Berkeley Law, and these are just a few examples, student groups created Jew-free zones, banning anyone who supported Israel from speaking, because that's what it was about. Censorship, because our free speech is the most powerful tool that Americans have. This is all censorship. The committee exposed it. Let's talk about health care. Doctors were silenced. Scientists were blacklisted. Intel officers suppressed DOD and FBI findings on the lab leak. Remember the lab leak in Wuhan? Impossible. I said it, man, I was mocked that it really possibly and probably did come from a lab and not from a wet meat market. That was a big joke back then. You were censored. You were censored if you had a different opinion. The CDC and the FDA withheld data on vaccine side effects. It was censorship. And this committee, again, exposed it. The FBI, the Department of Justice, remember that stuff? Spying on conservatives, spying on Catholic churches that were going to, spying on concerned parents and labeling parents who were concerned about their kids and going to school board meetings as domestic terrorists. They were trying to censor them and using FISA, worst of all, to go after millions of Americans inappropriately. It was censorship, and we exposed it. The ultimate censorship, the media, the legacy media, which pretended none of it was happening. Most folks never got to hear about it, didn't even know. There's still a lot of Americans that don't know. It was all censorship. And now I hear the other side lecture us about the abuse of power. Really? Seriously? After what happened after the last 4 years? You gotta be kidding me. It's unbelievable. You know, I was talking to a reporter outside before. They said, you know, what's the one thing you regret? They were doing a little bio on me in your years in politics and government. You know what I regret is that every single American didn't have to sit here in these judiciary meetings and hear what's going on to their country. I wish they knew, and they don't, because the legacy media doesn't let it out, barely covers it, covers a tiny fraction of it. I'm surprised we've survived it all with free speech. Hour after hour, hearing after hearing, case after case. I wish they were here. We fought back. We won for now, but we're in trouble around the world. Our country's in trouble. We still are. We could really be losing our freedom. We could be going into a dark age. Mr. Schellenberger, I have questions for you real quick. I don't have much time. Please, just yes or no. Sorry to do this to you. Has President Trump, to the best of your knowledge, ever pressured Facebook or Twitter to censor true information? Yes or no?
You know, I think you looked into this, right?
Got to do this quick, I'm running out of time.
We didn't see the request.
Okay. Did President Trump ever, last question, I can't get through them all, I'll ask that they'll be put in the record. Did President Trump ever direct intelligence agencies to work with social media companies to suppress damaging news stories before an election?
Not to my knowledge.
Did President Trump ever label parents as domestic terrorists?
No.
Did President Trump ever spy on Catholic churches?
No.
Did President Trump's DOJ ever pressure big tech to silence political opponents?
Not to my knowledge.
Did President Trump have done any of these things, wouldn't the media say he was abusing power if he had done it?
I'm sorry?
If President Trump had done any of those things, would the media say he abused his power?
Absolutely.
Thank you. I yield back.